Hey everyone, what's going on? This is your boy Hype. I'm from God's Elected. So I just wanted to just drop in real fast and just drop a little something, a little discussion topic. So what really happened in the beginning? And Genesis, when they say, let me read it to you. Genesis 1:1 says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So a lot of times we will refer this, as the creation story, how it all started, how God created everything. But what we fail to realize a lot of time, that Genesis, in that story written by Moses a couple thousand years back, when God gave him the revelation when he was in the desert, this was not the actual beginning of life. This was not actually the beginning. So the Genesis creation will actually be like a recreation and not actually the first creation. What do I mean by that? God is a God of order, the author of life and order, right? So let's check this out. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, heavens plural. Now, verse 2. Now, the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. There's a couple things here, like if you read too fast, you're gonna miss it. Let's take the time and go back. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That's God putting his stamp on creation, saying, in the beginning, God, like I did this. And that refers to multiple heavens and one earth, right? Verse 2 is where it starts to get interesting. Now, the earth was formless and empty. So, and darkness was over the surface of the deep. God is light. So why would he create the earth? And then from the beginning, it was already formless, which means it was like, other translations say it was misformed. So it was like something without shape. It was just like mud, no structure to it, nothing like that. And it was empty. So there was nothing. There was no trees, no nothing like that. And darkness was over the surface of the deep. There was no sun, there was no moon, there was no light, like which is the glory of God. It was just total chaos. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Why will the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of God is, which is when they say the Spirit of God, this is the Holy Spirit. Now, why will the Holy Spirit be hovering over the waters? And the waters is which will be like, the oceans and stuff like that. And why was it all dark? So if you really paying attention to this, in verse 3, after the Holy Spirit is hovering over the waters, so there must be something in there. It was monitoring, it was something in there, it was trying to keep in control, because God wouldn't create the earth in a chaotic state like that. There must have been something that happened to cause it to be like this. And then in verse 3 it says, and God said, let there be light. And then there was light. Verse 4, God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. Why did we have darkness in the first place? Where did that come from? Those are the type of questions you need to ask yourself. So if you're really understanding this, I think the verse that really talks about the creation is in John something. I think John 14, when it says, in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and everything that was created was made by it. This is the first beginning, and we don't have a date for that. When we're gonna have Adam and Eve, that is a second beginning. So it's a recreation. So I'm not gonna go deep into this, because this video is meant to be short, but you need to subscribe, and so you can stay tuned when I'm gonna drop the other video on like were there like any other human beings before Adam and Eve. Because pay attention to this now. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. The earth was formless and empty. God would not create something in a chaotic state. So what happened to it, I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek. What happened to it, there was judgment that fell on the earth. And another thing that will cause that is Lucifer was already cast down. right? He was already cast down to the earth, so he was already kicked out from heaven, and then him being cast down from heaven to the earth, which is what produced the judgment of God and destroyed everything, and which is what the Holy Spirit was doing when he was over in the darkness. He was like putting things in order so that the dark realm will not overtake the land. And you will see that that makes sense, because I think in Genesis 6, the serpent just popped up out of nowhere in the new fresh creation. But the serpent was already there in darkness, and all the malice, the deception was already there. So where did that come from? So you will understand that this was not really the beginning, because there was already evil at that time. So I hope this, help jog your memory a little bit. So if you want to do your own research, read Genesis from 1 to 6, and then I think Genesis 27, and then there's Jeremiah 17, and then there's another passage that talk about the judgment, the fall of Lucifer, and then there is John 14. I think that refers to the real beginning. So really think about this, guys, because there's a lot of lies that have been told, and when you know the truth, you will think about things differently. Peace out, y'all.